I'm sorry, it's just all of those lives lost. It really makes me think, how was this possible? How is it possible for someone to carry a semi-automatic weapon? Now, just to give some context, I live in Canada. We have different um, we have different gun laws and policies, and for us, it's just when we hear of someone even possessing a gun, it's like, you better have a hunting license for that, like, or else why else are you carrying? Now, I understand in the United States, they are protected by the Second Amendment. Every individual in the United States is entitled in their Constitution to bear arms. I'll never agree with it. I don't understand the justification. But the main thing I want to take out of this whole thing is the gun law. The gun laws and the policies. Because there is something to say about how easily someone could just do that. Someone could just, in the United States, get a gun, get ammo, find a place, and do what they want. The very idea sickens me to know that anyone can walk into like a Walmart or a Walgreens, I think it is in the States, and buy a gun. I understand some people buy them for recreational uses, like hunting. I understand some people buy them for protection of their farms. But what I don't understand is how a modern family person would need a gun. I don't understand it. Like, are they are they in the mafia or something that you don't know? Like, it's their secret that they're not telling you. But it should not be appropriate for families or individuals to own and operate guns. Just recently, we hear stories all the time, but just recently there was a little boy who died in the United States because he was fishing around in his grandmother's purse for candy, only to find a loaded gun, and he shot his brains out. He suffered, not because of his curiosity, but because Nana owned a handgun that she didn't lock, and there was no safety, and it was ready to aim at will and fire. That befuddles me because I hear, not on a daily basis, but pretty often, of stories of children, especially in the United States, who find mommy and daddy's, personal handgun, and they end up injuring or killing themselves. I hear stories of people who get shot all the time, and people claim that they are protecting themselves and their property. I hope that's true, but if not, that is completely excessive, wouldn't you say? Because in this whole grand scheme of things, there are gun control advocates who argued that there are clear policies and restrictions that could have saved lives in this massacre shooting. A Guardian senior reporter, Lois Beckett, argued that gun control advocates calling for a ban on bump stocks, which are largely unregulated novelty devices, which the shooter, Paddock, may have used to convert a semi-automatic rifle into a weapon that mimics the fire of a fully automatic weapon. And at least 2 were recovered in his hotel room, according to law enforcement. So here's a case where someone just walked into a gun shop, got his gun, got his ammo, walked out. There was a transaction of money, and that's the end of it. Yeah, I bet the gun owner feels terrible now, knowing that they just sold something to a madman. I'm not saying it is their fault, but I'm saying if this person has a conscience, they are going to lose sleep now. On the opposite side, the White House on gun control, i.e. Donald Trump and his administration, said just recently that no new laws are needed because new laws won't stop a madman, and the problem isn't too few gun laws. That is complete, utter bullshit. I think that if there were more stable laws and far more restrictions on who can get a gun, this may have been avoided. I understand that there are people with complete mental disabilities who are far beyond help. I understand that no matter how hard you try, there are always a small percentage of people who cannot be stopped. I understand that. But I think there might have been a difference had these, what were they called? Bump stocks regulated. And just the fact that people are arguing the Second Amendment, in this case, almost makes me laugh, but not in a comical way, in a are you kidding me kind of way. Because they argue that the Second Amendment protects their right to own and operate a gun, which I have a lot of trouble figuring out because they also say that in order to have this protection, you can also have safety. If I were in America, I would not feel safe. Even if I owned and operated a firearm myself, I would not feel safe. That wouldn't comfort me at all. I mean, for God's sakes, in Canada, it's illegal to own and use pepper spray or mace. In the States, you can use it. In the States, you can have a gun. That's just the way the world works. But there should be a compromise. I know it's an ongoing issue that some people say you can't have both safety and security and the ability to own and operate a firearm safely. People on both sides are saying there needs to be a compromise. Some of them, the stereotypical gun-toting kind of people, you know. They say, no, I own a gun because I can, so watch your back. But some people are saying, well, you better watch where you point in that, or else, you know, you might find it confiscated. I don't think I'll ever understand the Second Amendment to the extent of protecting those to own and operate firearms. But it's in their constitution, you know? Stupid's gonna be stupid. I think there's a greater issue, though, with the psychology behind these people, and that may be for another video, because there's a compilation that I would like to do about that, so I won't delve too much into that. But I do want to ask you, what do you think about gun laws in the States? It would especially be interesting to see how Americans would respond to this. So I ask you, especially, with all of these recent tragic massacres, do you think that there is give and take with the Second Amendment with regards to how an individual pertains to owning and operating a firearm? Maybe you own one and maybe you've never used it. Or maybe you refuse to. Or maybe you're the kind of person who has a pistol in like every drawer of the house. But I want to hear from you. What do you think? What is the cost? How many more people need to die to prove that this isn't working? How many more people need to die, America? How many? Hundreds? Thousands? Hundreds of thousands? Stop me when you're ready, because there will be a lot more funerals. There will be a lot more condolences. There will be a lot more PR that, you know, you're going to go to on social media. You're going to go in the front lines to try to talk about this issue, but nothing important is ever going to be addressed. How many people need to die, guys? What will it take for you to amend certain policies and regulations? Honestly, I'm asking. I'm curious. But I'm also upset, so tell me when. I just want to end off, though, with this. What happened was disgusting. I will never know how all of those people felt. I'm sure it was super terrifying, scary as hell. And I just want to extend my condolences to the families and friends of the victims. I can only hope that in the future things will be better. I wish I could tell you guys now that it will be different and it will be a better kind of different. But I can't promise anything. I can tell you what I think or what I hope can happen or not happen. But that is up to the administration now. And if you feel strongly about gun laws, for example, especially in the United States, because your so-called president refuses to discuss the issue and even offer a solution that others have been offering, it's time for you to stand up tweet to the president and say, hey, you know, hashtag when will gun laws change? Hashtag change Second Amendment. I'm not good with hashtags. I'm sorry. But if anyone has anything more creative, I'm all for it. Like, I'd totally join that conversation. And Donald Trump is like a huge new issue that I'll save for another video. Oh, update too, just a couple of minutes ago. Jason Aldean, who was the performer at the time of the shooting, has just announced that his cancellation for upcoming shows this weekend is out of respect to mourn the victims who attended his show. And that's pretty cool of you, man. That takes a lot to put aside your career for those who you didn't know. And I encourage everyone right now to take a second, a minute if you have one, to mourn the loss of some very special people. And once again, to all of you, I'm sorry for your losses. And to the rest of you, thanks for watching. I'm sorry it wasn't as upbeat, but let's start this conversation, guys. It's gotta change. I'll see you next video. Bye.